Hi. So I just wanted to do this quick video today because my cousin Laura is in from out of town. This
Hello,
is Laura
hello.
Haver. And we have kind of been on our author journey together, and we've been helping each other and learning together.
Mosquito.
And
No, it's not me.
we were having a conversation this morning about kind of how all this started, and I
Mhm.
just kind of want to share that connection with you. So um, Laura, tell me like how your journey started, and then I'm gonna kind of jump in and
Well,
talk
I was
about where
born
we
on
connected.
December 9th. No,
No,
kidding.
no, no, no,
I
let's
know,
go
I
a
know, I
little
know.
further,
Okay,
right?
so I've always wanted to be a writer. I've always been a writer, and I've been doing this. It's been a lifelong dream to do a book. I was working on multiple book projects over the years, and then recently I started writing again more seriously during the pandemic is really when it came to fruition. And I started the book actually that I have coming to print now is really interesting because it didn't even start out as a book.
Right,
It
right.
was just this idea that popped in my head and as a way to support families of having children home from school when school was canceled. So I started posting a new game every day to my Instagram account.
Yep.
Now we have over 70 games and it's turned into my first book. So I don't know. I guess it's like you never know where the idea is going to come from or how it's going to come to market. And then after working with so many authors over the years and hearing their stories, every book story is so unique and so interesting. So I don't know, I find it so fascinating to hear everybody's stories
Yeah.
of
And
how their books come.
what I think is cool is how that like how we connected because of just that little thing that
Mhm.
we didn't even know about. So Laura and I are cousins, but we have an age difference, so we didn't like grow up together,
Right.
right? And as the pandemic hit and I was in the middle of writing my book and now I'm like, "Oh great, there's a pandemic. Like what do I do now?" And I'm, just following different people on social media and her games keep popping up. And it's all about relationship and making connections. And I'm like, well, that's like what I write about, and that's what my book's about. And I'm like, and I was doing some sort of author like challenge thing, and they were talking about how you can start your day by like thinking about what is the universe asking me to do, right?
Mhm.
And who should I connect with? And I don't know, Laura's name kept popping up, probably because she kept showing up on my social media, right?
Who knows?
And out of the blue, like I call her
Mhm.
and we just like chatted and we're going nuts talking. And, I needed some help moving forward in my process. And she was trying to coach and it connected. It
Yeah.
was awesome.
It was really funny when you're just like, "This is what I do," and then we get on and we're like, "Blah, blah, 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 blah," and just, like, talking about it and bringing the ideas forward and supporting each other in it and sharing ideas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So so that's, kind of how we started. And I
Mhm.
think
And
one
for the record too, I live in the West Coast and
that's
so
right.
I'm in San Diego and she's in Chicago area, so it's like we're not close, like how do you
Uh,
even say it? Geographically, I
Geographically
couldn't pronounce
close,
it
right?
correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cool to have someone doing it, and right about that time is when I was starting to build my community of authors. So then I started the Author Moms community in which Cheryl's been a founding member, and it's been really cool. That's what I was saying about all these people sharing their stories.
Right.
And like everyone's stories come about so differently, but it's been really fun because I was working to help people go from feeling shut down to showing up in their life. And there's a million places that can stop us,
Mhm.
especially as moms when we have not only all of our personal things but all of our family responsibilities, our household, our relationship with our spouses, with our kids, and bringing all this stuff. So it was just really cool having this fun connection. So I guess the deal is find your partners in crime and your
Right?
your
Find
friends and
find
your
your
buddies
community
and
and
find
go
coaches that
together.
can support you in moving forward in what you're doing.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is, we both have this philosophy of play,
Mhm, that's
right? And my philosophy is that, when you're learning, it's a combination. It's play, practice, and purpose.
mhm,
And Laura's a huge play advocate. I've gotten play ideas from her.
mhm,
And I like in my book, I like to play a lot just with ideas and with the
mhm,
concept of what's happening. But I think it's also important, and Laura's taught me some of these things too. Your practice is important. The habits that you establish and the
mhm,
things that you do to move forward. And then you need a reason. for what you're doing. And, and it's funny because I think sometimes that reason can transcend everything. Like, you were like author moms. You just wanted to meet other authors,
Yeah.
right? And we now have a community that has been going 2 years
Yeah,
strong.
2 years with
And
women all across the United States. We had some overseas, but then the time change just got too difficult. But it's like, and sometimes you don't know when you start something, you don't know what the purpose is, but you're just drawn to doing it. Or like these games, I didn't know what I was doing with
right,
them. And now they're like going to be my first book,
right,
my first official book published. So it's kind of interesting to see. But even like play, and it's like bringing the spirit of play to what we do. So I define play as an invitation to do something for yourself for the pure joy of it.
mhm,
Because I feel like we know what play means for kids,
right.
but for us as adults, we need to be able to embrace more play. And so just like finding that like through line of play in what you're doing with in your life makes a big difference.
Yeah. And I think play actually leads to purpose, right? I think
Mhm.
like, I know Simon Sinek says start with your why, start with
Mhm.
the whole purpose, but I think sometimes like you don't even know where to
Yep.
begin. And I think when you just start playing and you start adding these habits that
Mhm.
lead you to your goals, your purpose shows itself.
Mhm. Yeah, because I remember one of the lessons I learned from my book and multiple other things, but specifically is the importance that your daily habits make in your life, in your quality of your life.
Mhm.
Because when we were creating a new game every day, it was this structure that we had to play. We had to sit and play and create a new game each day.
Right?
Now, granted, it took us longer than most people because we had to create the game, document the game, but that was fun for us. But then once we went to like once a week or less, we still were together, but we weren't having like, so it's like these routines and these structures, these environmental designs, is like words, they make a big difference. So it's like
Yeah.
so being intentional in how you're living and how you're using your time. And so it's like, as you can see, we can just talk forever
Yes.
about these ideas,
Yes.
but it's so fun. And seeing Cheryl's book coming to market and launching is just so exciting. Her story with the boys that she taught and everything that she learned is so inspiring. And I was so thrilled to get an early read of the book. And, she talked about it for so long, but to really see it, I'm just so excited for it to come and share and touch other people's lives. So any teachers, parents, like, people that work with kids, it's just like a really good book that gives you not only the story pieces of it, but also these practical resources, tools, tips, and approaches, right? Like mindsets or contexts to approach the ideas with. So it's not like there's not like so many things, but I don't know. I don't know if I can.
No,
I'm trying to like nail it in
it's
there
hard
for
to
you.
capture, right?
Mhm.
I have a hard time describing it to people myself. I'm like, it's this story, and then it's like all the skills that I've learned as a teacher and
Mhm.
as a parent
Yeah.
and as an instructional coach, and I like put them all together. So
Mhm.
it is. I sometimes have trouble myself,
Yeah.
but thank you for that. And just wanted to share. So that's coming out November 1st, and
Woo-hoo.
when you're finished reading with that, Laura's book is gonna be right next,
Yeah.
and,
End of February.
my book's gonna inspire you to get out there and play, and then you'll have more how-tos when Laura's
Yeah,
book
mine's
comes
called
out,
Play
so
Together, and it's about games you can play for the whole family to boost creativity, connection, and mindfulness. So it's just a collection of stuff you can play at home with whatever you have because during the pandemic we weren't going anywhere. And
yep,
so
and I could tell you, I played a lot of those games during the pandemic, even with my teenage kids because, right? We were
mhm,
all stuck in the house together, and
yeah.
they worked.
Yeah, they're fun
So
for all ages,
yeah,
really.
they're good. They're good.
Hmm.
So thanks for joining us and our interview with Laura Haver.